Welcome, everyone. Tonight we're having a special presentation led by Jim McCabe, our Knights of Columbus Insurance and Life Policy agent. He's going to give us a presentation, so welcome again, and let's give him a warm welcome.
Thank you, Worthy Grand Knight. We're here at Council 1707. I'm glad you could join us this evening. Tonight we're doing a very brief benefits seminar for the Knights of Columbus. So to get things rolling, let me bring up Bob Brunoni. Bob's the agent that serves this council. Bob, come on up. Bob's been with us for, what is it, 8 years now, Bob?
7.5.
7.5 years.
Awesome.
Look at that. Well, congratulations. The audience is yours.
Thank you, Tim, for that introduction. Thank you for that warm reception, gentlemen. Again, I'm Bob Brunoni, the field agent for the Knights of Columbus, and we briefly want to talk about paternal benefits. Now, tragedies can strike a family in different forms. Obviously, death, which will come to all of us. Disability, the need for some extended care service, maybe inadequate savings for retirement. So, you know, the most popular paternal benefit we offer is life insurance through the order. So the question you need to ask yourself is, if something happens to me, do I want my wife to go back to work or even to go work for the first time? Or do you want your wife to make that decision? Evidently, it's going to be her decision at the end anyway. In terms of your income, how well protected is your income? If you were unable to work, how long is your employer going to be willing to pay your salary? Not very long, I would imagine. So what does your income do? Well, it pays your mortgage, pays your bills, put gas in the car. It provides for the education for your children. And most importantly, it puts food on the table for your wife and your family. Now, disabilities and the need for extended care services, I always say, are two sides of the same coin. And generally, they come close together. One may trigger the other. Now, when something does happen, usually it's the one spouse who's helping the afflicted spouse with their afflictions. So they may do whatever it takes, that 1 month, knock themselves out, be dog-tired at the end of the night. They'll do this for a few months, but a few months could turn into 6 months. 6 months could turn into a year. 1 year could turn into several years. But at what point does the caregiver get burnt out physically and mentally? It can happen. And then what about the adult children in the family, how it affects the family unity? Usually it's whoever's living close to mom and dad assists mom and dad with their difficulties. But let's just say you have one sibling living in Pennsylvania and the other sibling living out here in Santa Fe. Well, they're going to be helping mom and dad with their problems. But they'll be reaching out to their siblings in Pennsylvania saying, I need help. And typically the response is going to be, well, I can't be there. I have my job out here in Pennsylvania. I have my children to take care of. I can't be there to help you. So this is a cost to not having adequate coverage that the families don't think about. So again, this is something that needs to be planned out. Are you on track for having a comfortable retirement? Are you saving? Now, not everyone has the opportunity to have a 401k at work or even have an IRA set up. Now, typically you have single income families. Usually it's the husband who has the job, but you do have families where it's a 2-income family. But what happens if you lose 50% of your household income or even 100% of your household income? How are you going to pay the bills? How is the mortgage going to be paid? So these are considerations that we could help with. Now, when a man joins the Knights of Columbus, he is an associate member. But once he gets a policy for himself, whether that's life insurance, annuity, a disability policy, or long-term care policy, he becomes an insurance member. There is a benefit to the widow of an insurance member. For a year's time from the date of his death, she's able to be an applicant where she can apply for coverage for herself and her juvenile children. Again, this is a benefit that a lot of members forget about. So my job as a field agent is my responsibility to meet with you and your families, to review with you your policies. We'll review your benefits, the beneficiaries. We'll review what we call out here in New Mexico as your Knights of Columbus Survivor Assistance Record. This is the tool I'm going to need that, God forbid, something happens to you, to be of assistance to your family. So when you get that call from me, you see Bob Brunoni, Knights of Columbus on your cell phone, pick up the phone. Let's set aside an hour of your time. And I'll meet with you and your family. We can either do this face-to-face or virtually. And virtually has worked out very well since the pandemic started a few years ago. It gives us greater flexibility when we can meet. So again, this is a fraternal benefit meeting with your field agent. So really, that's about what I have to say. I want to thank you for your attention tonight. Until we do meet again, God bless, keep safe. Viva Jesus, and Viva Cristo Rey. God bless.
God bless you. Well done, Bob. Well, Bob has a lot to say, and Bob's been doing this for quite a while, and I can tell you from my own experience that Bob has seen the good, the bad, and the ugly when it comes to preparation, family preparation for those things that we hope never comes up. We all know we're going to die, right? None of us is going to live forever. The only person that had eternal life we put on a cross, right? But it's difficult to consider what's going to happen when we pass away. Let me tell you how I train my men. Every one of my men, including Bob, I was training Bob seven or so years ago. I told him that every time we sit at the kitchen table with a couple, 9 times out of 10, we're sitting at the kitchen table with a future widow. Because 9 times out of 10, us men, we pass away first and leave our wives behind. 9 times out of 10. That is a stunning statistic, but it's absolutely true. So one of the most important single things that our agents do is we're there to help take care of those precious Knights of Columbus widows. Not just after somebody passes away, but to prepare them, to pave the road, to make sure that they are ready, so to make sure they are educated, to make sure that they have what they need. That's what our agents do. With a lot of organizations that sell financial products, we find that there's a lot of high-pressure sales tactics used. I know most of the people in this room have sat down with their Knights of Columbus insurance agent before, and most of the people online have done the same thing. And I think you would vouch for me when I say that we don't operate a high-pressure sales organization. We don't need to. One of the things that comes up a lot these days is this wokeness in a variety of companies. You know, companies are sensitive to trans rights, to gay rights, to alternatives to marriage. And I think with the Knights of Columbus, we're all about Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve, right?
Right.
Right. So one thing about the Knights of Columbus that sets us apart from everybody else is that everything we do, every dollar we touch, every effort we make truly reflects our Catholic values. To me, I joined the Knights of Columbus 35 years ago. I've been a professional with the Knights of Columbus for 29 of those years. I've been doing this a long time, and I've seen some beautiful things happen within the Knights of Columbus. I can tell you that from my experience, every single year, this company has gotten better and better and better. I can tell you that right now, we are tied for first place in North America with 4 other insurance companies. And all we do is serve our members and their families. All we do is serve Catholic families. We don't serve everybody. Isn't that interesting? I find most people are surprised to learn that the Knights of Columbus is actually a Fortune 1000 company. That makes us one of the 1,000 strongest companies in the world. And all we do is serve our members. I find that people are surprised to realize Knights of Columbus has been declared to have the highest ethical standards in the financial industry. financial services industry. And all we do is serve our members. Everything we do, every dollar we touch reflects our Catholic values. I think there's value in that, don't you? Yes. So with that said, I've told you a little bit about how I train my members, how I train my agents. I've told you a little bit about what our agents do. I haven't told you the most important part. We have 8 agents serving New Mexico right now. Of those 8 agents, the most important single thing they do is help a family when there's a crisis. I can tell you that our men help a family on average with death 2 to 3 times a month throughout their whole career. We don't just show up to fill out forms. We don't drop forms in the mail. We show up. Quite often, we're there at the kitchen table filling out the forms from the other companies, the Woven companies, from the other financial services companies. We're there to help. I've helped ladies write their first check. I've helped ladies balance their first checkbook, create a budget. I've done the same thing for men. And in my mind, that's the most important benefit of being a member of the Knights of Columbus. I can tell you that when I joined 35 years ago, a gentleman came to my house, sat at my kitchen table and looked me in the eye and he said to me, "McCabe, when something happens to you, I'll be there to help your wife." And I decided right then and there, I would always be a member of the Knights of Columbus because I would always want that dignity for her. I never saw myself being the guy on the other end of the table, but here I am. Here I am. So with all that said, Bob mentioned a few of our products. We obviously we offer life insurance, we offer long-term care insurance, we offer disability insurance, we offer retirement planning and programs, and we also have mutual funds available not just to our members, but outside of our membership now. And everything we do reflects our Catholic values. That's the Knights of Columbus in a nutshell, gentlemen. I promise to keep this presentation to 15 minutes. I think I'm on time, Bob?
I think so.
Bob says yes. Do we have any questions?
Yes, I have a question. Do you have to be a member of Knights of Columbus to be able to buy your insurance?
Santiago, that's a great question. I get it all the time. And we get it more often than not at these seminars. But to answer your question, yes, a man who is a member of the Knights of Columbus can buy insurance for himself, for his wife, for his children under the age of 18. I, as a grandfather, I was able to buy insurance for my grandchildren because my son and my son-in-law became knights. I've also been able to buy insurance for my great-granddaughter because her father is my grandson, and he joined the Knights of Columbus when he turned 18. So he has access to the Knights of Columbus insurance program. There's also a thing called a widow exception, and that is simply this. When I pass away, because I'm an insured member, because I have insurance with the Knights of Columbus, my wife will have access to our Knights of Columbus insurance program for a period of time. So that's the only exception. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay. Any other questions, Bob? Anything online? Bob's saying no. Any other?
I have one. So you mentioned that if you could purchase insurance for your grandson as long as, i.e., maybe your son-in-law becomes a member.
That's what we did, because we bought the insurance when they were little. But that grandson, if he joins Knights of Columbus, he has access to the insurance program, but you can pay for it if you want to.
Right. What if I have a grandson that's 2 years old and I would like to purchase insurance for him now, but my son-in-law is not a Knight of Columbus?
Is he Catholic?
My son-in-law, my son-in-law and daughter are both Catholic. Yes.
Then he's eligible to join. Then he would need to join the Knights of Columbus in order for you to get insurance on that.
For my
child.
grandson.
Exactly. And joining now is so easy. I mean, and frankly, ladies and gentlemen, there's so many people that join the Knights of Columbus just to get access to our insurance program because it's an amazing program. But he can join, there's no cost for his membership in the first year. He can join online. He can join a council if he wants to, but he doesn't have to join a council to be a member of the Knights of Columbus anymore. So it's so easy. Do you think he'd be adverse to that for some reason?
I'm convincing him too.
Good.
And he's mentioned to me that he would be very interested in it.
Okay.
So, and I mentioned to him about our program, so that's one for sure we're trying to do. If anything, for my grandson, we'd love to just get him insured now and just.
Understood.
We did that for my daughters, but we didn't do it for the Knights of Columbus. I got him policies when they were little. And we were blessed to do that because my oldest daughter developed a seizure issue. And so if she had not been insured, she couldn't get insured now.
I
So there's
understand.
no insurance company that can do it. So-
My daughter got in a car accident, developed a seizure disorder as well. And thank God we had the insurance on her when she was
Right.
young, because she was uninsurable for about 5 years.
Yeah, yeah. So, and I apologize that I did miss this part, but I would like to hear a little bit about that long-term care.
Well, let's see, I would suggest you sit down with Bob and talk about long-term care. I can cover it briefly. Because I have to respect the time, our online time, online attendees. But essentially, long-term care insurance is a type of insurance that pays for your care when you can't care for yourself, right? So it's not medical, it's not, it doesn't pay for your doctor, it doesn't pay for your prescription drugs, it doesn't pay for those kinds of things. But it would pay for custodial care in a nursing home. It would pay for adult daycare. It would pay for home-based care. It provides a pool of money available to pay for that care. And there's a variety of parameters, daily limits and life and yearly limits and that kind of a thing. But those are details that are specific, they're specific to individuals. So, yeah, I can't stand here and say, you need this and you need that, because everybody's different.
Right.
Everybody-
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Any other questions?
Can you quickly cover annuities?
Well, I can cover it. What's our time limit?
You have maybe 1 minute.
1 minute left, okay. My 1 minute description of an annuity. An annuity is very much like a savings vehicle. But think about this, it's a little different. It's not like a savings account or a CD, although it has aspects of that. Only insurance companies can write annuities. Why? Because death benefits and life benefits offset one another. So an insurance company can write annuities, which can provide lifetime income to a person, no matter how long they live, and that offsets, if a person lives too long, obviously the insurance company loses. If the person dies too young, the insurance company loses, but vice versa. If the person doesn't live long, the insurance company wins on the annuities and also wins on the life insurance. So what it does is it balances the risk of dying too young and living too long. Does that fit?
Yes.
The beautiful thing about it is it's tax deferred. So I don't know if you have CDs at the bank, or do you have a CD at the bank, you get a 1099 form at the end of every year. You pay taxes on the growth every single year. Annuities are tax deferred, so you don't get that 1099 form. It's not taxable until you put the money in your hand. And they're eligible for tax qualified accounts. It can be a Roth IRA, it can be an IRA, it can be a SEP, it can be a KEOD plan, it can be a lot of different things. But essentially, you think of it as a savings vehicle that offsets life insurance risk. Make sense?
Yes.
Anything else? All right, let's cut the cord, and thank you, gentlemen. I appreciate your time and attention, and I really appreciate your invitation. It was very kind of you to have us visit 1707. I love this council. It was one of the first councils I visited when I came here 16 years ago.
Wow.
If we are interested in long-term financial advisory investment services, give us a 1 minute presentation.
Well, we could go ahead and cut that.
Got it?